Hello my friends, let's talk about Sora Yori mo Tooi Basho, a show that last season took the AniTuber community by storm. It seemed that everywhere you look, from large to small, YouTubers were reporting on the deep emotional experience that this show affected in them. It was so affecting and popular that Digibro, ever the contrarian, felt the need to spend 7 to 14 full minutes describing how general problems with the director Juki Hanada made him lose his immersion due to the existence of self-aware high school students that are actually capable of metastrophic reflection and communicating that reflection with others open and honestly. Cynicism about one's lack of confidence in the rational capabilities of high school age people aside, and past clumsiness of this kind of dramatic prose also set aside, a place further than the universe, in my and many other people's opinion, perfectly solves a long-standing problem in anime writing. The just talk problem.
I want to talk around it because it's like a big plot point, but in the first two episodes, but it almost made me stop watching. And Wooly, you will be able to empathize with the thought here, even if not the specific. There is a very tropey Japanese plot happening in those first two episodes interpersonally between the characters, in which you are immediately struck with this terrifying fear of, please don't let this be what the show is about. I can't deal if what the plot I'm seeing now is what the show is actually about, because it's the just communicate problem.
Just go say the thing.
And I can't.
Oh, you mean just talk?
Yeah. Just use your words.
Just talk like humans.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And it's the worst I've ever seen, without question, because it's so obvious to the viewer.
Yeah.
And it's not to the people in it. And you're just like. And the first episode ends, and you want to die.
Yeah, okay.
But it solves it by what, 4?
No, it solves it by the second one. I went back and checked.
Was it the second one?
The second episode.
That's
like
the
they
same...
actually get through it.
Well,
like,
that's the same
was it
fucking.
Seriously, the
yes.
second one? Holy shit!
That's where I started bubbling up in Kids on the Slope, where I was like, just say the thing,
and you're halfway through the sentence, and then they've already.
And he's
done
like, no, the solve.
Because like I know it's going to be 24.
Yo, walk with me for a minute. I got to talk to you. All right, done.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, that exact thing happens where a character gets fed up of the situation, grabs a hold of someone, and says, "Shut up! Just listen, okay? Just shut up!"
Yeah,
and he just effectuates it right there.
This is what's This is what's actually happening.
But you have to remember, these shows are made in a country where 2 arcs can be made out of gathering the courage to talk to someone.
You're right.
Anime is filled to bursting with misunderstandings that are followed by emotionally running away or immediate slapstick violence, followed by dragging out the misunderstanding over multiple episodes. In a place further than the universe, such problems are always solved by a purposeful conversation. Even when the characters do run away, like in episode 2, it represents a character's personal growth rather than narrative stagnation. That, alongside the moments of the show that juxtapose the differences in how our main cast communicates from how the average high schooler does in narrative, I think the show does perfectly fine in establishing believability. To talk about my own pet peeves for a moment, this show is the latest in a history of English translated titles that have resulted in frustrating conversations about inaccurate translations and the loss of meaning because of them. The title Sora Yori mo Tooi Basho is mostly translated correctly. A little trick for translating to English is to do so backwards from the end of the sentence. Basho translates to a place, Tooi meaning far and Yorimo meaning more than, thus further than, but Sora here gives us a problem. The kanji here reads uchu, which means space, specifically outer space. This doesn't directly translate to this Latin word universe that we use, meaning singular and turn. But it's not technically wrong with modern uses. However, as we'll soon see, this word universe directly conflicts with the other meanings in this Japanese play on words. Anime fans of some length naturally start learning some Japanese, and a word that is easy to pick up is Sora, meaning sky. And I have talked to multiple fans of this show that have learned incorrectly that the word Sora means universe. In this case though, Sora doesn't mean sky either, at least not entirely. The first kanji in this word, when taken alone, is pronounced Sora and means us or we. This word combines a rarely used root word that refers to the self, so, combined with a suffix used to pluralize some nouns, da. You may have seen this with other titles such as the popular do-da-da-da, which combines the katakana pronunciation of the English word dollar, do-da-da, with the pluralizing suffix ra, and thus the title translates to The Dollars, which is the name of the massive flash mob gang at the center of its narrative. If you are learning Japanese, this usage of Sora has fallen out of common use, so you will never need it. Complications like this arise when you write a language using a script designed for a massively different language, such as Putonghua or Mandarin Chinese. The second kanji, pronounced chu, means mid-air on its own, though is not used as such in Japanese, but this somewhat makes the word Sora connote sky as well. But what do I know, I've only spent the better part of a decade learning Japanese, graduated magna cum laude with an Asian cultures degree, and received an award for innovative and creative research and analysis only awarded to one student in my field each year, while a couple of people on the internet passively supped at the teat of kakizushi, I mean Crunchyroll, and thus know more than me. I apologize for getting emotional there. That was ingracious of me. Regardless, when you are able to see both the title as written and the title as spoken, which calls the viewer to look and read the first word differently, we as the viewer see two meanings that fully encompass the entire range of thematic elements in this show. The first translation being a place further than ourselves, which denotes the personal and emotional growth of these characters as they move beyond themselves, to set and accomplish a goal, to rely on others, to enjoy the present, and to create friendships. All of them seeking to define their lives and move past their own hang-ups by making this trip a reality. The second being a place further than the universe, which highlights the completely irrational idea of high schoolers going to Antarctica in the first place. Many YouTubers have already commented on the role this absurdity plays in the narrative, so I won't rehash that aspect here. But it is worth it to note that so much commentary on this aspect is exemplary of the kinds of people who populate the AniTuber YouTube space. And as viewers and thinkers yourselves, you probably want to be able to better understand this media you absorb in order to dialogue their viewpoints with your own perspectives. Chances are if you are watching this video, then you don't need me to explain what A Place Further Than the Universe is about, its characters and their emotional connections, or the emotional resonance of the goal which they set for themselves. But it bears repeating that the very idea of a bunch of high school students going from nearly broke to funding their way to an expedition toward Antarctica is one of the most asinine and unrealistic ideas a kid could have. Because children rarely, and I mean rarely, ever truly appreciate the difficulty and the hurdles that life can throw at you when you have to be fully independent and responsible for your own ends. To say that you are going to accomplish that which almost no one else, or perhaps no one, has ever accomplished requires an extreme level of audacity and a healthy dose of ignorance as well. But sometimes ignorance is exactly that tool, that skill that is needed to expand what humans think themselves capable of. Us YouTubers, in a similar way, possess this audacity and this ignorance. Think about what it means to be on YouTube for a moment. It doesn't just mean creating videos and expressing your ideas to a frequently hostile and impersonal void ready and raving to take you down and prevent you from expressing the things you want to express. The anger and the vitriol of the internet easily dissuades the majority of anyone who even thinks about trying to participate. And new channels are born every week with the sole purpose of angrily rebutting a fan theory or controversial video made by the bigger names times in each YouTube genre. To actually find success on YouTube is even more rare. Almost no one who actually jumps in finds even an iota of success in the platform. And the platform itself is well known for being insecure and unreliable when it comes to being successful and self-efficient. And yet many of the YouTubers which do find that success decide not only to embrace what they've made thus far, but to leave whatever day job, whatever reliable base had supported them before, in order to embrace that unreliability wholesale. On any given day, the rules of YouTube can change, a creator's access to their audience can be blocked off, and what was success last week can be a recipe for failure the next. It is audacity to think that you, some random person with a webcam and Windows Movie Maker, can speak your mind on the internet talking about cartoons, or games, or things that traditionally didn't seem to matter all that much to people, and turn it into something truly meaningful, turn it into a livelihood. Yet every YouTuber you watch has done precisely that. They have started from a position of ignorance, from a position of audacity, and they put their art into the world so that they may be supported by their art. Every YouTuber you watch has decided that they are going to Antarctica, and that no amount of challenge or hurdle or obstruction is going to prevent their efforts. A Place Further Than the Universe is a show that is both broad enough and deep enough to resonate with almost anyone who watches it. I too chose to watch this show out of the desire to reclaim having an emotional reaction to the shows that I watch, in a time where my focus on philosophical analysis caused me to be too absorbed in rationally evaluating a show than on simply experiencing it first. But in a very particular way, every anime YouTuber at some point made the same kind of decision for their life that the main character of this show made. And that creates a very particularly impactful and meaningful connection to those of us on this platform. It is a show that reminds us to keep embracing both the audacity and the ignorance that got us to where we are now. And in that way, the show is easy to love. Thank you for watching, my friends. In the comments below, tell me about who you identify with in this show and how that character inspired you to continue on your path. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell, and hit the like button. The like button really is the single most effective way to get this video in front of other interested people, and I would really appreciate it. We are still a small community and we don't pay anyone to advertise, so the only way we can grow is with your help. I hope you will join us next week, and as always, stay true.